Hare Krishna. We'd like to welcome all of you to this spiritual inspiration session. Today, we're going to be discussing a very beautiful thought that will help you in your journey of spirituality. Krishna keeps a track of every devotee, and he looks for um, records, he looks for symptoms, he looks for Lakshana of a devotee. Lakshana simply means that these are symbols or symptoms of who is a devotee. Each one of us have some symptoms that determine whether we are a devotee or not a devotee. And here is a very beautiful story that will help us understand what these symptoms are and what these lakshanas are. There was a woman whose name was Cindy Yamal, and this lady, she wanted to have darshan of a very great acharya, and she went all the way to meet this particular acharya, and she offered her prostrated obeisances in front of him. And the moment she offered a prostrated obeisance in front of him, he began to ask her a series of questions. So first thing he asked her, which village do you come from? She told the name of her village, but immediately she said, this is the village in which this particular great devotee was born. So all of us, wherever we are born in this world, there will always be some great soul born in that same area. So it is, instead of just saying it is my area, we must recognize the person that who is so exalted. So it's a great devotee born in that same area. If you're born in, say, a small place, a small village, find who is a great sadhu who's born in that same village. Every village in India practically has some great soul that is born in that same area. And instead of calling it your village name, you have to call it that it is the village of that great soul. So what happens is you are immediately connected with that person. And this Acharya was very impressed when he heard, that. So he was impressed by the fact that our body, our true birthplace, is not merely the place where our body was born, but the sacred place where great acharyas, great devotees were born. And the moment you connected with that place, it becomes more holy for you. Then he asked, what is your kula? What is your clan? And this lady said, my kula is Achyut kula. I belong to the kula, the clan of Lord Narayana, of Achyuta, who never abandons his devotee. Then he said, oh, what is your gotra? She said, my gotra is Parankusha gotra. She immediately remembered the lineage in which she was coming in. Each one of us have a gotra which connects us to a great sage of the past. Then he said, what is your Veda? She said, my Veda is Dravida Veda. Each one of us have some scripture that is our favorite scripture, which is our favorite holy book. You should connect with that book. Then he said, what is your heritage? She said, my heritage is that I belong to the Supreme Lord. So he asked, who are your relatives? She said, all my relatives are Atma Bandhus, those who are devoted to the Supreme Lord. Blood relatives may be or may not be Atma Bandhus. Those who are opposed to the path of bhakti are not really Atma Bandhus. But those who are bound to you through devotion, they are our true family. It is most fortunate if your family members are also devotees, nothing like it. But slowly, over a period of time, we must have relatives who are Atma Bandhus. And then he asked her, who is your father? She immediately replied, the Supreme Lord is my father. Then he asked her, who's your mother? She said, Lakshmi Devi is my mother. And he asked her, where is your house? Which is your house? And she said, the spiritual world is my house. And then finally he asked her, what is your profession? She said, Bhagavad Kainkaryam, service to Bhagavan is my duty and it is also my reward. Then finally he asked her, what is your position? She said, I follow Panchopai, Panchama Upai, which means this is the fifth way of taking shelter, which is the shelter of the spiritual master. When I take shelter of the spiritual master, that is the Panchama Upai. That is the final and the most powerful way of surrendering to this in the parampara. And then she finally asked her, "What is your prayer? What do you want to pray?" So she folded her hands and she said, My only prayer is that I may have constant shelter of the Supreme Lord and constant opportunity to serve the Lord and his devotees. This little story illustrates something very important for all of us. Uh, all these, what this lady spoke as answers, are all the Lakshana of a devotee. Lakshana means symptoms or um, the way you understand who is a devotee. So, all of us, the more closer we identify with all these Lakshanas, the more we are closer to the Lord. The Supreme Lord is known as Kritalakshana. Kritalakshana means he is the one who has created all these Lakshanas. And anyone who follows all these Lakshanas, he becomes a devotee of the Lord. He becomes very dear to the Lord. The Lord is constantly looking for records of who is following these Lakshanas and who identifies very strongly with these Lakshanas. And when the Lord sees someone is very strongly identifying with these Lakshanas, he really feels connected with that person. Parashar Bhatta, in a very beautiful verse, explains this concept, and he illustrates this very beautifully. He says, "Kritam hi lakshanam yena sopadeyeshu jantusu Paramatma Rishikesha Satusyat Kritalakshanaha," which means the Supreme Lord Bhagavan himself has created these distinguishing marks of his followers. Whether you are a human being, whether you're a man or a woman or an animal or a bird, anyone who follows these Lakshanas, that person is accepted by the Lord as his own. Let us all try to imbibe these beautiful lakshanas in our own life, beautiful symbols, symptoms of who a real devotee is. And let us follow the path of Krishna consciousness by imbibing the spirit that we just saw. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.